Commissioner Hugo Alvarado,
Present.
Commissioner Raul Velasco,
Present.
Chairperson David Heredia.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Iniguez, can you lead us in the invocation, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair, please bow your heads in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we are grateful for the privilege of meeting here this evening. We ask for your blessing on the proceeding of this meeting and ask that you give guidance and wisdom to the commissioners as they make their decisions. Thank you. Amen.
Thank you. And Commissioner Velasco, can you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Of course.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Madam Secretary, was the agenda posted according to state law?
It was.
Thank you. Okay, and this is the time given to the public to speak on agenda and non-agenda items. And were any comments received?
No comments were received.
Okay, thank you. We're going to go to the first item, approval of minutes from the meeting on August 6th, 2024. I need a motion from a commissioner on improving the minutes.
First motion.
Okay, and I need a second.
Was I present at the, Veronica, can you clarify that for me?
Yes,
Was I
so-
present at this one or the,
You were not present at this
okay.
one, but I believe both of you can vote on it because and then we can move forward. So
And I will go ahead and second that. And can we please take roll call vote?
certainly. Commissioner Velasco
Yes.
and Mr. Chair Heredia.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is also an approval of minutes for August 15th, 2024. I need a motion from a commissioner.
First motion.
I'll second this motion.
Okay, and Madam Secretary, can you please take roll call vote?
Certainly. Commissioner Alvarado,
Yes.
Commissioner Velasco
Yes.
and Chair Heredia.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is a traffic safety analysis. Mr. Iniguez, can you please give the report?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Item number 3 is regarding a request for a disabled person parking space fronting 5843 Fostoria Street. It is staff's recommendation that the Traffic and Safety Commission approve for City Council consideration the installation of a designated disabled person parking space fronting 5843 Fostoria Street. I'll go ahead and have the city engineer provide the full report. Doug?
Good evening, thank you. We had a request from a resident for a disabled parking space in front of 5843 Fostoria Street. And of course, we evaluate these on a case-by-case basis, and even investigating the on-site conditions. The site has inadequate on-site parking to accommodate or facilitate on-site entry or exit of a large vehicle, which carries the disabled person's wheelchair, his bike and walker, from that standpoint. And there's no current rental arrangements for larger vehicles with the landlord to park on site. Fostoria is a local residential street with a primary facial speed of 25 miles an hour. The street has single-family homes, but with a majority of multifamily dwelling units on both sides. The resident requesting installation of the disabled curb is just for disabled access because of the fact they can't get on-site parking. Therefore, staff recommends that we install a disabled blue curb out in front on Fostoria, with the caveat that the blue curb allows anyone to park in that space with a valid disabled parking placard issued by the state. And I'll entertain any questions.
And do we have any questions or comments for this one?
No questions.
No questions as well.
Okay, I need a motion from a commissioner to approve staff's recommendation on going ahead and installing the designated disabled parking space.
First motion?
Now second.
Thank you. And Madam Secretary, can you please take roll call vote?
Certainly. Commissioner Alvarado,
Yes.
Commissioner Velasco,
Yes.
and Chair Heredia.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is another traffic safety analysis. And Mr. Iniguez, can you please give the report?
Yes, Mr. Chair, item number 4 is regarding a request for red curve parking restrictions fronting 6808 Ira Avenue. It is staff's recommendation that the Traffic and Safety Commission approve for city council consideration the installation of 5 feet of red curb parking restrictions along both sides of the driveway at 6808 Ira Avenue. With that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Doug, city engineer, for the full report. Doug?
Thank you. We received a request from the resident at 6808 Ira Avenue, indicating that a large vehicle parks southerly of the driveway of 6808 Ira Avenue. We basically address these type of issues on a case-by-case basis, and we look to evaluate any safety concerns along with the maximization of parking in a residential neighborhood. So I completed a site investigation of it, and basically the neighborhood consists of single-family dwelling units that include 2 or 3 on a lot. The resident is concerned with when exiting their driveway, when the large vehicle is parked there, it's basically it's a motor home from that standpoint. There's approximately 35 feet between the 2 driveways. And that we shorten up the parking space because that would mitigate the fact that the neighbor has a truck and trailer that parks across the whole thing. And thereby, by red tipping it's only the 5 foot of red curb, it increases the line of sight conditions, but while maintaining some 30-foot parking space, which may discourage parking the larger vehicles, but bring back cars and make the area safer. Of course, probably the neighbor who has the large vehicle will probably move to another area in the town. We'll probably address that later. But it's our recommendation to install 5 feet of red curb on both sides of the driveway at this address, and I'll entertain any questions.
Is there any ordinances, laws, regulations on parking larger recreational vehicles like this on our city streets?
I am not aware of any on the books.
Now,
The vehicle code would allow, basically a 72-hour maximum for any vehicle parked on the street. So that would be even for the large RVs and so forth. And as long as the RV is connected to the truck, it's considered one vehicle. Now, then there's another issue if it's not trailered up or hooked up. But then it also requires somebody from the red neighborhood to call the PD on it.
And as far as the red curb, I see that there's a house next to it. I can't really see if there's a driveway near there. I was just wondering, is there a vehicle that's still able to park? I'm trying to see if I'm looking at this south or north, but I guess based on the picture, it'd be the lower red curb. If there's still in
That's the
spot.
one we're shortening. That's the area that's the area that the vehicle parks in south to the south of that address. And what you're seeing there is a roof in the aerial.
Got it.
Adjoining structure.
Okay.
There is 31 feet between the driveways.
Okay, so there's still parking there. It's just shorter.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, if no other questions or comments, then I need a motion from a commissioner to approve staff's recommendation of going ahead and putting the red curb at about 5 feet on each side.
First motion?
now second.
Thank you. And Madam Secretary, can you please take roll call vote?
Certainly. Commissioner Alvarado,
Yes.
Commissioner Velasco
Yes.
and Chair Heredia.
Yes. Okay, we'll go on to the next item, another traffic safety analysis. And Mr. Inigos, can you please give the report?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Item number 5 is regarding a request for a disabled person parking space fronting 6909 Adamson Avenue. It is staff's recommendation that the Traffic and Safety Commission approve for city council consideration the installation of a designated disabled person parking space fronting 6909 Adamson Avenue. So with that, I'll turn it over to Doug again for the full report. Doug?
Well, thank you. We received a request from the caretaker for the resident at 6909 Adamson Avenue for a disabled parking space on the city streets. We completed a site investigation. He even contacted the applicant. The site has inadequate on-site parking to accommodate or facilitate any on-site entry or exit of a large truck used to carry the individual's materials to get in and out of the vehicle. Adamson is basically a local resident street with a speed limit of 25 miles an hour, primarily single-family homes with multifamily dwelling units on both sides of the street. We make sure that he has the applicant has all the required documentation. And therefore, with nothing on site, we're recommending the installation of a blue curb out in front with the caveat that anybody with a placard can park at this space if it's issued by the state of California. I'll entertain any questions.
Okay, I do see the red outline there of the proposed spot. Is there any required length for painting the curb blue for disabled parking? And would that take away that other spot right behind it?
We'll maximize it to probably be 18 feet, which would be the smallest allowable by the MUTCD. So we still allow a compact car to park behind it.
Okay, no other comments or questions? Then I need a commissioner to go ahead and make a motion to approve staff's recommendation of installing the designated disabled parking curb.
First motion?
I'll second.
And Madam Secretary, can you please take roll call vote?
Certainly, Commissioner Alvarado,
Yes.
Commissioner Velasco
Yes.
and Chair Heredia.
Yes. Okay, and we'll go on to the next item. I believe another traffic safety analysis. Mr. Inigos, can you please give the report?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Item number 6 is regarding a request for a disabled person parking space fronting 7816 and a half Eastern Avenue. It is staff's recommendation that the Traffic and Safety Commission approve for city council consideration the installation of a designated disabled person parking space fronting 7816 and a half Eastern Avenue. So again, I'll have City Engineer Doug Banash provide the report. Doug?
Thank you again. The resident came in requesting this space. From the caretaker. He had all the necessary paperwork for our policy. Took a look at the site. And even contacted the resident because the primary, as with all these, we know Eastern Avenue is an arterial street with a speed limit of 40 miles an hour. It's a divided arterial with 2 lanes of travel in each direction with 1 lane parking along the curb line. The street is a majority of commercial with a few multifamily residential properties on both sides. The reason why the resident is requesting the on-street disabled parking space because the landlord made some improvements, and based on those improvements, the driveway is now designated a fire lane. That does not allow parking on site unless it's a designated area, and he's not. And new owners are not, and the new tenants do not allow parking in the driveway anymore because of the fire lane designation. Therefore, staff is recommending the installation of blue curb on the in front of the property and the street. And I'll entertain any questions.
And I want to confirm that the residents are aware that anybody with a disabled placard can park there. I fear that it being next to the church, maybe on a Sunday, someone else with a disabled disabled placard might park there. It might cause confusion. But I just want to confirm that the resident is aware that anybody with a blue disabled parking placard can park there.
We'll make sure the resident is aware of that. As with all the applications that we've reviewed tonight.
Thank you.
And I had a question as far as the request, since it's from a caretaker of the resident. Is the caretaker not a resident, or are they?
No, all the pertinent paperwork, the registration and the placard are all listed to the property along with the applicant's name. Or the tenant's name on it.
Got it. Okay, I need a motion from a commissioner to approve staff's recommendation of installing a disabled blue curb in front of the property.
First motion.
And I'll second.
Okay, and Madam Secretary, can you please take roll call vote?
Commissioner Alvarado,
Yes.
Commissioner Velasco,
Yes.
and Chair Heredia.
Yes.
Thank you.
I believe that was the last item on our agenda. And do we have any comments from staff?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I just want to go ahead and report that the repainting of the bike lane sharrows, those are the shared bike lanes citywide, have been completed. And staff has also released a request for proposals for planning and engineering services. And this is for the development of a Safer Streets for All action plan, which will result in an updated complete streets plan. Proposals are due from prospective proposers by tomorrow. So we're excited about that opportunity. Also, the city engineer has reviewed the requirements of Assembly Bill 413. If you recall, there was a gentleman that came to one of our meetings and mentioned this. This would prohibit the parking within 20 or 15 feet of certain crosswalks or those with curb extensions. So with that, I'll actually turn it over to City Engineer Doug Binoche so he can provide a full summary on that report. So Doug, if you will.
Thank you. Yes, this is a follow-up to a request to discuss the impacts of AB 413. AB 413 was approved by the State Assembly and Senate and signed by the governor on October 10th, 2023. What AB 413, it added paragraph N to section 25,000 of the California Vehicle Code. And we can provide you that text if you like to see it via email. And what paragraph N, it restricts curbside parking approaching an intersection with a marked or unmarked crosswalk. And so here is the summary. This actual law goes into effect January 1st, 2025. The law prohibits parking at the curb when approaching the intersection with or without a painted crosswalk a distance of 20 feet. So basically, from when the curb starts at the intersection of the curb and gutter, that's probably going to be the delineation point of where you can park at. Primarily, this eliminates one parking space at each approaching corner of the intersection, and this will impact the community by reducing available parking to residents. This new law is basically a new vehicle code section enforceable by the police department, thereby a policy issue for the city to address. Currently, until January 2025, the police department's only allowed to issue warnings regarding the new parking restrictions. Public Works has informed the police department of this new requirement, and our recommendation is just to receive and file this report or this information.
And that concludes staff comments unless there are any questions regarding that summary.
Okay, and do we have any comments from commissioners in general? Okay, just wanted to make a quick note of, I believe one of our residents that has come in twice, about the trucks pulling off of like the freeway on Eastern Avenue between Florence and Gage, not going through the truck routes. I definitely still notice trucks going through, and I know some of them probably have to go through there, like the Food for Less truck. I can't imagine any other way they can go. But there are other trucks that I've noticed that might just be passing through all the way to Gage. So I just kind of wanted to make a note of it. And say I didn't want to, wait for our resident to come back in and kind of bring it up again to us. So just something, I guess, to just keep monitoring, whether it's for the, police department. I don't know any other way around it.
Definitely, Mr. Chair, I'll let my counterpart, the chief of police know. I do want to note that when I was inspecting the Cheryl's painting on Eastern, I did observe the police department actually pull over a big rig and they were issued a citation. So I'll bring it up to them again so that they can keep doing that type of enforcement.
Sounds great. Okay, I think that's all the comments and questions for today. So I will now adjourn this meeting to the next scheduled meeting. I believe that would be December 3rd, 2024. And this meeting is now closed at 6:01. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.